Shalom, welcome everyone. Chodesh Tov. Rosh Chodesh Adar Tov. You can hear me, yeah? Am I clear? First of all, a couple of thank yous. A big thank you everyone to Sandy Julian who put this all together. She's been asking me for some months to come to her Bet Knesset synagogue to speak. What a beautiful place. I feel like I'm in mini Persia with the chandeliers and pillars. It really is a beautiful kind of stuff. Thank you so much. And Shane Sharifian, who usually organizes this, is behind this. She wasn't able to make it tonight, so we're going to video for her, and it's in her schut. Tonight's class is sponsored by the said family, Le Nishmat Azizullah Ezra Ben Shlomo, and Henriette Bat Aziz Rachel. It should be a schut for their Neshamot, Bezrat Hashem. Also, Edna Bat Cheskel Chayim and Yigal Ben David. Hashem should make sure the Neshamot are rejoicing in Gan Eden, Bezrat Hashem. And what a schut to be together in a class. You know what? It's Adar. It's been a tough year. Purim is coming up in a couple of weeks, God willing. And Adar doesn't go by without me visiting Great Neck, because as far as I'm concerned, I can't go to Persia right now. I just have the Great Neck for the Purim holiday at least. Friends, I don't think an Adar has arrived in the past which needed more simcha than people need now. The amount of calls, emails, WhatsApp messages, Facebook, you name it, the amount of people are reaching out to me with troubles and challenges caused by COVID, whether directly or indirectly. This is a difficult time. However, the Gemara tells us, Misha nichnas la'adar, when you go into Adar, marba misimcha. We have to increase our simcha. We have to increase our happiness. Now this is not so easy. Simcha is hard work. The Rambam tells us that in order to have simcha, it's an avodah. Avodah means you're going to have to schwitz, you're going to have to work hard to find simcha in your life. Besimcha, same letters as machshava. It's a mind game, my friends. Being in a state of happiness is all about working and reframing every event, everything that's around you, every relationship, every friendship, whatever it is, every work challenge, every study challenge. Our mission in this world is to reframe things, see HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God inside those events, and have emunah. I had a call this week from a rabbi. A rabbi called me, actually, a rabbi of a very big, prominent synagogue, and he called to schmooze. He had a certain question for me, and then he said, you know what, I lost some money, I'm depressed, I put money in a deal. I said, what are you telling me for? He said, because I know you lost some money too. I goes, yeah, I did actually. This whole GameStop thing didn't work out for me either. So he said to me, what's your view? I said, I talk about emunah all the time, and I talk, and at some point in our lives, we have to act on it. And emunah, my friends, emunah is not for times when things are going well. When things are going well, you don't need emunah. You don't need faith in God. Who thinks about God? Everything's going well. The trick is to work on your emunah, on your faith, when things are going well, so that when things are being challenged, you have what to fall back on. That's the secret of life. When things are going well, that's when you've got to put the work in. That's when you work on your emunah. You've got to read a little bit, go to class, work on yourself, increase it to tefillah. Why? Things are going well, everything's smooth. But when things go tough, and things go awry, and suddenly your parnasah starts to be affected, or chas v'chalila, health, or both, that's when you get to invest and bring out the emunah, things you worked on, in order to use it now. And that's what we're trying to do. And that's what we're trying to do. And that's really the secret to life. What has this got to do with Purim? So much, it's unbelievable. So much. Because the story of Purim has a lot of layers. There's a lot going on in the story. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the framework, the outline of the story itself, I want to just pick on a couple of themes, and I'm not going to speak for long tonight, because you all look like you have great social lives. I don't. I could be here all evening. Makes no difference. You know, Esther, we look at her as a great heroine of the Jewish people, right? And she was, and what she did for us is incalculable. We would not be here today without Esther. And it would be remiss of me not to mention that in the Sephardi world, the name Esther, especially the Persian world, we all look up to her as the heroine of our people. I'm sure there are people who actually can trace their heritage, their lineage, back to Esther. Make no mistake, her mission was miserable. I know, on Purim, the young girls get dressed up as Esther, and the boys get dressed as, and he said Haman, as Mordechai. But you know what? They're walking around smiling and cheerful in their pretty, beautiful dresses. I think every one of my 4 daughters bleeding around dressed up as Esther at one point during their childhood, you know? But it was tough. It's tough. And I'm going to share 2 words with you. And I thought about this today, and I'll be speaking about this next week for another organization, so I'm going to test it out on you tonight. But I'll tell you what she was the queen of. She was the queen. She was the queen of responsibility. Not any responsibility. Not the responsibility that most of us have. Responsible to get out. Responsible to get a job, or get a degree, or work, or become a doctor, or a dentist, not dentist. Her responsibility was what I have coined today. It came into my head. Extreme responsibility. Trademark it. Tag it on Facebook. Extreme responsibility. Unbelievable. A responsibility that, you know what? She didn't want. You think she wanted this mission? Do you think for one second Esther Hamalka wanted to marry this crazy, megalomaniac, paranoid dictator who was quick to dispose of people in the most horrific measures? This Achashverosh character, you know the name Achashverosh? Ach Barosh. He gave us an ach in our heads. He gave us a headache, says the Mam Loez. He drove us crazy. One minute he's your friend, next minute he hates you. You know, Haman, he was bad. Right? We know he's bad. Why? Because everyone tells us he's bad. And he wanted to kill the Jews, but he was up front. He says, I am Agagi. I am from Amalek. You're Jewish. I want to kill you. Horrible, but you knew where you were with that guy. You knew where you were with Haman. It was written on his face. He was up in front. I'm not only going to kill you, Mordechai, I'm going to kill all the rabbis. Actually, I'm going to kill all the Jewish people. So you know what you're dealing with. Achashverosh is a lot more sinister. He's the individual who we have to deal with in Jewish history who, come on, I'm your friend. Come to my party. All the food is kosher. All the wine is kosher. I'm not going to force you to drink. It used to be in those days. They used to force people to drink, and many of them would become delirious, become very sick, and many would die. This party, no forced drinking. So the Jews came because we Jews don't like drinking, we want to eat. Jewish wedding, the bar is empty. The smorgasbord, you can't get your fork in. Achashverosh wanted to be our friends. But when the right opportunity came, he stabbed us in the back. Now that's a lot more scary, because this is the person who let into your life. And this is the person who Esther became responsible to marry. Crazy. I'm telling you, she cried every day in the palace. I know we have this image of this young girl floating around the palace. You know, Mordechai and Esther thought of a plan. They realized this was Min HaShamayim. Mordechai used to hang out around Shushan HaBira. Now, I never knew what Shushan HaBira was. I thought Shushan HaBira was just another name for Shushan, but it wasn't. Shushan was the capital. Okay, you know it is Monday, Hamadan, or nearby. But it was the capital made by Ahasuerus. Before that it was in Bavel, Nebuchadnezzar, and then Ahasuerus shifted it to Persia, into Shushan. Shushan HaBira was the capital. Not everyone could walk around the Capitol. Not everyone gets to walk around Congress, or no one gets to walk around the White House. But Mordechai wasn't allowed to do that. He had certain stature, certain presence. They knew he was the chief rabbi of the Jewish people, one of the chief rabbis. From the story, actually, you may not know this, but after the story, he was actually demoted a little bit. Sounds a lot unusual. The rabbis tell us that afterwards, not everyone was so happy, because he spent all of his time rather than teaching Torah and inspiring people, saving the Jewish people. So even from inside his own people are like, yeah, Mordechai, we're not so into you anymore. I know we think of him as the big hero. And Esther is the big heroine. It says, most of the people appreciate what he did. Some of them were like, I don't know, we wouldn't have done it this way. Imagine that. First they've got to deal with Achashverosh and Haman, and they've got to deal with the Jews, but sometimes their own worst enemy. Anyway, so there is Mordechai, and he adopts this cousin of his, who according to most opinions, he married. She then is kidnapped, V'tilakach Esther, the Megillah tells us, against her will, and dragged to the palace. Now remember, there were many such women, because Achashverosh learns his lesson from Vashti. Vashti was too full of herself. She was too rebellious. So he said, you know, I'm not going to pick one. I'm going to pick many, many women. Let them fight among each other. Let them know what they're going to get over here. You know, there's something called the Achashverosh fan club. People love Achashverosh. They see him as some, like, weird, eccentric king, right, with a crown on the side of his head. Hey, I'm Achashverosh. Make no mistake. The guy was a narcissist par excellence. He knew exactly what he was doing. The only reason he doesn't seem so crazy in the Megillah is because after the Purim story, when Mordechai and Esther wrote the Megillah, he got a copy. He got an art scroll copy of the Megillah. So they had to make him look sanitized and nice inside the Megillah. So you're going to have to dig a little bit deep under the surface to see what Achashverosh, because Mordechai and Esther are going to have to hint to us, be ramez to us, what exactly this person was all about. And so he gathers these women. Most of these women, by the way, were very happy to volunteer themselves. They were happy to volunteer themselves and say, yeah, we'll take a shot at the lottery of being chosen from all these women to be the queen of 127 provinces. That's a lot of land. That's a lot of power. That's a lot of money. But not Esther. Esther didn't even try. She sat, they saw her, and the Megillah tells us, let me tell you something unbelievable, by the way. I want to tell you things you don't hear elsewhere. The Megillah tells us that she was extremely beautiful. Why does the Megillah tell us that? Marat Yafeh, a beautiful woman. One of the most beautiful women in Jewish history. Did you know that? By the way, who was the most handsome man in Jewish history? Besides your future husbands? Yosef. Yosef was so handsome. Women used to climb on walls just to catch a glimpse of him. Ben brought Yosef, Ben brought Ayin. He was so handsome. People were just dying to catch a glimpse. Why is the Torah telling us? Esther so beautiful. Yosef so beautiful. Why is that important? Because the looks they were given, get ready for this, was part of their mission. It wasn't just coincidence. She happened to be beautiful, and therefore Achashverosh chose her to be his wife. No. Shimshon was strong, because that was part of his mission. Yosef was handsome. That helped him fulfill his mission. Esther was the most beautiful woman, like her great-great-grandmother Sarah Menu, because somehow, in some way, they realized that the gift of beauty that they had was there to help them fulfill their mission. So when Esther was taken, Mordechai wasn't so surprised. And he realized that something amazing was going to happen through her. So he used to hang out around the palace in Shushan HaBirah, which was surrounded by walls and a moat, but there was actually water surrounding Shushan HaBirah. Remember, Achashverosh is scared of one thing and one thing only, and it's not God. He's scared that someone's going to come and assassinate him. and take his position. That's what a dictator's scared about. That their right-hand man or woman are going to come, kill them, and take their position. Because who decides who the next dictator is? Whoever kills the present dictator. Right? That's the way it works. So Esther was given the power of beauty. That was part of her mission. Some people are given great brains. Some people are given the ability to be great sons, some great speakers, some great math, some people, whatever it is. Everyone has a unique talent that is special and unique to them, and that is part of your mission. It's not like a side point. That becomes part of your mission. So Esther's mission was her beauty. She knew she had to use that. And here it came. So she's taken for a year, because they used to, you should know this. You know, when I was a kid, when I learned the Purim story in yeshiva, I went to a mixed yeshiva, boys and girls till the age of 11. And these, so the girls would line up, and the king would be there in the school play, right? And this one's toe is too big, I can't remember. This one's toe is too small. And I grew up thinking that's how Achashverosh selected his wife, the size of their toes. Right? The rabbi wanted to make it tnuah. He wanted to make it modest. When I find out what really happened, I was like, whoa. I didn't see that one coming, I tell you. These women were violated. They were kept for a year. He wanted to see if they were beautiful through all 4 seasons. They were given perfume and makeup. Esther did not want to be selected. She did not want this responsibility. The achrayut she did not want. So when it was her turn to be with Achashverosh, she put on no makeup, no creams, no nothing. And the people who were running, they were like, this makes no sense. All the women were making them look beautiful for the chance to be chosen. But it was her mission. This was her extreme responsibility. Sometimes you choose the responsibility, but sometimes, as Shakespeare says, it's thrust upon you. You have no choice. It's given to you, and you have to do it. And her mission was miserable. Happens to be that she saved the entire Jewish people single-handedly, which is why I always say it's Megillat Esther. Why not Megillat Mordechai? He wrote it. He's involved in it. He's the one who got Haman and pushed backwards and forwards. I'll tell you why. Because if you look at, this is so important, my friends. If you look at what she went through, Esther HaMalka, I call her Esther Malka because that's what she referred to in Megillah, right? Not Malka Esther. She was lower. That was Malka Vashti. She was Esther Malka. So there she is in the palace. She's chosen. By the way, what happened to all the women who were violating Achashverosh? Did they go home? Did they go home and find another shidduch? Right? Back on, back to the shadchan? Did they go back? Yeah. So it didn't work out with me and Achashverosh. Lovely guy. Little crazy. Lovely guy. Too many people tried to assassinate him. It didn't work out. Nothing. His parents, a little annoying. Persian parents, they could be a little bit annoying, I'm saying? I don't know. Demanding things. Not happy with the car he was driving. I wanted a BMW. He had a Toyota. It wasn't for me. No, that's not what happened. What happened was, my friends, these women ended up in his harem for the rest of their lives. In his harem. They couldn't escape. Now, for many of them, that was actually a step up. But their personal harem. Right? You couldn't walk around saying, yeah, last week I was with Achashverosh, and now I'm with, Joe Smith or Abdul somebody, I don't know what they are. The Persian equivalent is now Muhammad somebody, I don't know. So there is Esther. She's chosen. And now, she's got to think of a mission to save the Jewish people with Mordechai. Right? Because we know what happens. Haman decides, because he's not given enough respect, because Mordechai won't bow down to him, he decides he's going to kill Mordechai and the rabbis and all the Jewish people. And that's the segue. That's the way it works. It starts with Mordechai, then the rabbis, then the Jewish people. It always starts. You get the leaders, And then you get the rest of the Haman It's weird, right? Haman is extremely powerful. He's got the Taubat, he's got the ring of Achashverosh, which means he can seal any signet decree he wants. He's very wealthy, Haman, extremely wealthy. He's got friends, he's got family, he's got a social life. What's the big deal? One guy says to his wife, one guy won't bow down to me, it ruins everything. Where is Haman's name in the Torah? Anybody know? I know you know, Meital. Where is Haman's name in the Torah? Not the Megillah. Haman's name in the Torah. How's it possible? How can Haman's name be in the Torah? The Torah finished, he wasn't even born yet. He's there. Hamin Ha'etz. In Gan Eden. With Adam, Chava, and the Nachash. Adam and Eve and the serpent. The tree is Hamin Ha'etz. You want me to eat from this tree? Haman Hamin. Change the vowels, same word. How's Haman? What's he doing in Gan Eden? Because he represents Gan Eden. What aspect of it? Listen very carefully. This is an amazing idea. You see, what was the challenge of Adam and Chava in the Garden of Eden? You can have everything except this one tree. And they're like, if I can have everything not this one tree, I want this one tree. It's done. You ate from it, you're out. Haman is the same. He has everything. But I can't have Mordechai. I don't get honor for one person. A narcissist like that, I'm done. That's Haman. Haman is so narcissistic. He cannot feel good unless everyone is pushed down. Literally pushed down in front of him. There are such people. There are such people. But I gave a talk on narcissism a few weeks ago. And the amount of, more than any other talk I've given in a few months, the amount of calls and emails I've been getting about people telling me about their husbands, their wives, their mother, their kid. It's crazy. Their employers. This is Midat Amalek. That no one is as good as me, and I'm going to make myself feel better by putting you down. He literally made everyone bow down to him. Korim Mushtachavim. Not just bow down like you do to a king or queen, which is okay. Mushtachavim is he walked back to lie down in front of him. That's a narcissist. Mordechai's like, no, I'm not doing that. You're crazy. It's not for me. I'm the chief rabbi. I don't do that. So Haman says, I'm going to kill you all. I'm going to kill all of you. So now Esther's going to figure out a way to save everyone. And by the way, who caused the whole problem? Mordechai. Imagine you saw Mordechai on the street. Like, hey Mordechai, how's everything going? Not so good. I see you wearing sackcloth and ashes. Yeah, there's a decree to wipe out all the Jews. What? It's like, could you repeat? Yeah, there's a decree from Haman to kill all the Jewish people. Who? Me too? Yeah, you too. And my family as well. And my cousin, yeah, cousin as well. But I have friends who lives, yeah, them as well. So what happened? What's Mordechai going to have to say? It's great. Think about it. What's Mordechai going to have to say? What happened? Well, I won't bow down to Haman. Yeah, and? So now he wants to kill everyone. So, let me get this straight. Mordechai, if you would have bowed down to Haman, he wouldn't try to kill us. Yeah. So the reason Haman wants to kill us is because you won't bow down. That's correct. No other reason. No, actually. I mean, he doesn't like us, but... So could you just bow down to him? Just fake it out. Just bow down, and when he's not looking, just jump up and run or something. I don't know. He's like, no. He goes, but whenever you don't bow down, Haman wants to kill everyone. Because, yeah. So really, Mordechai, you're the reason we're all going to die. Yes. Oi, says Mordechai. We're all going to die. Because it's your fault. Imagine that. Can you imagine? I'm just going to give you the pressure. Mordechai and Esther, she's stuck in the palace. He's outside with every Jew thinking, what are you doing? They're going to kill all of us. And he takes full responsibility. They were miserable. The plan to kill Haman was a suicide mission, but it was brilliant. And we'll finish with this. The plan was a genius plan. You don't really see it clearly, because had they written it clearly in the Megillah, it would have made Achashverosh look bad, and he's got his own paranoia, narcissism, so we couldn't make him look bad. So they had to hint at it, but it's there. The plan was very, very clever. And most people are not aware of it because you have to look through the Meforshim, you have to look through the commentators to see what the exact plan of Mordechai and Esther was. But it was genius, but extremely dangerous. Dangerous to Esther's life, for sure. Dangerous to Mordechai's life, absolutely. But in the end, as we just saw, dangerous to everyone. Because Haman and Achashverosh agreed to kill all the Jewish people. By the way, it didn't even mention in Megillah. When Haman asked Achashverosh permission to kill all the Jewish people, he didn't say kill the Jews. He says, Yesh Am Echad, Mufuzar Mufuzar. There's one nation. He doesn't name it. Why doesn't they name it, Mordechai and Esther? Because when Achashverosh reads the Megillah, he was like, oh yeah, I said I was going to kill all the Jewish people. I didn't. Looks bad. Let's kill him anyway. So they had to excise it, kick it out, remove the name Jewish from this whole decree thing, because it would have looked bad for Achashverosh that Jews walking around when he agreed he was going to kill them. So a lot of the story is anonymous. Do you understand? So what exactly is the plan? Well, the plan is to give Achashverosh the impression that Haman is trying to take his position, and they start to inch forward with that, a little bit here, a little bit there, and they start to do things that... And most people are not even aware, to give the impression that Esther and Haman are together in this. Right? That's what they're trying to, that Haman is trying to take her and Achashverosh's position of power. Now that's nutso. That's like mega nuts. That's crazy. Why? Because she should walk in and she can say, oh, by the way, you love me? There's someone who's trying to take your position. Right? And that someone has been, working with me to do that. And Haman could turn around and be like, yeah, me, not just me, it's her as well. And then he's like, you know what? I kill him, I'll kill you as well. And then who's going to save the Jewish people? Mordechai? We'll kill him too. Chalas, dayenu. End of the Jewish people. That could have happened. So what does she do? She says no. When Mordechai says, go and do this plan, she's like, no. Because there's a law, first of all, even to see Achashverosh, you need 30 days permission. Did you know that? Shloshim yom. By the way, what a strange law. Have you heard such a law before? If you want to go see the king or the president, you need 30 days permission. Why would Achashverosh create such a law? That was very unusual. People think that's the way it was. It wasn't the way it was. Because everyone's trying to kill Achashverosh. There was already an assassination attempt. Big Dan Teresh tried to assassinate him. So what did he do? He created a steel boundary around himself, as it were, not literally, or maybe literally as well. Definitely had walls and a moat. But he created a barrier that if you wanted to see him, it took 30 days to go through the vetting. The FBI had to check you out. The CIA had to check you out. So Mordechai's going right now. He's going to kill me. And he says, maybe he will. He's still got to go. And she's like, no. And they're communicating via a messenger called Hatach, who's actually Daniel the prophet. So he's like, by the way, he got killed in between, by the way. This was actually dangerous for him too. So he's getting backwards and forwards. And Mordechai says three things to Esther, which, if you've sat in my classes, I see students of mine who've sat in my classes, is my favorite part of the Megillah and the most relevant to us. Listen very carefully. Talk about extreme responsibility that we all have, is the punchline to this talk. We're all going to have to take on responsibility, and sometimes extreme responsibility for things among our people. He says, if you don't go, you're going to get killed anyway. Because don't imagine you're going to find you're Jewish. You think you're going to escape? Oh, you think you're rich? You think you're famous? You think they're going to leave you alone? You think in Germany, my wife always tells me, my wife comes from Holocaust, she's Ashkenaz, comes from Holocaust survivors. She says, the people in the town, it can't happen to us. We work for the town, we're doctors, we're lawyers, we're rich business people, we give business, they're not going to kill us. Wrong! Wrong, wrong, wrong. They come for us eventually. But I understand they're going to kill the other Jews. They're going to kill me. I pay all my taxes, and I give a lot of tzedakah, right? And I help with that. And me, me, the president, I don't know him, but his son-in-law, we had a business deal a few years ago. Who's going to help? Who's going to help? Come on. You think in 1979, in fact, they're like, come on, they're not going to come get me. I'm involved over here. Out. Make no mistake. So that's number one. Number two, the Jewish people are going to get saved anyway. We have a haftacha. We have a guarantee that was given to Avram and Yitzchak and Yaakov. The Jewish people are going to be there till Mashiach comes. We're never going to go away. We're going to get hurt. We're going to get pushed around. We're going to have pogroms, Holocaust, exiles. We're always going to be there. So this decree to wipe all the Jews is not going to happen. But if you don't want to do it, we'll find someone else. And instead of Megillat Esther, we'll have Megillat Shoshana, Megillat Barbara, Emily, I don't care. Someone's going to get the job done. And finally, the third piece of advice he said, which I find the scariest, personally, this is just me. He says, who knows? Maybe for this moment was the reason you became queen. Now when we hear that, we're like, duh! Of course! It all came down to this one moment! This was the time! Well, that's for you. After the fact, you know this. But while this was going on, they didn't realize that. While the events in the Torah and Tanakh were happening, they didn't realize this was going to become the story that would be written down. When it was happening, they were like, no, this is terrible. They didn't know that they were going to become successful. Many Jews had died before trying to help, and maybe there'd be other two Jews as well. So he says to her, this power was given to you for this moment. I want to understand this, my friends. This is very careful. This is very important. What Mordechai told Esther was, and he's telling us as well, because they wrote it in the Megillah, right? She knew the story. She didn't have to know this. The fact they wrote it down means it's for us. Right? We need to know this, not them. They were there. It happened to them. He says to her, your entire life has come down to this one moment. Imagine your entire life, this terrifies me, comes down to one decision. And you can decide, I'm going to take responsibility for this thing right now, and my life is going to go one direction, or I'm going to say no to this responsibility, and my life's going to take a complete different direction. Can you imagine that? It's scary. That's why you need advisors. That's why everyone needs someone who's able to direct them, to show them that this is the right thing they need to be doing. And it may be career. It could be a friendship. It could be a synagogue. It could be a favor. I mean, think back, you're old enough here to realize, think back to your lives. Maybe you did one favor for one person once, and that led you down a rabbit hole that ended up you meeting someone, being involved in a deal, a job, a class, made so different. But it was that one revolving door, that one door kind of let you out there, boom. But nearly always it comes down to a decision. And nearly always that decision comes from taking responsibility. And that's what Esther does. And right after that point, something fascinating happens, which I always point out. You see, the Megillah is divided into many chapters, but really there's one big beginning and end. The beginning is Mordechai running the show, saying, Esther, do this, Esther, do that. Esther, don't reveal your origins. Take the name Esther as a code name, because Hadassah, he'll know you're Jewish. Esther, go and see Achashverosh. Esther, do this, Esther, do that. As soon as she accepts her mission to walk in to Achashverosh within the 30 days, suicide mission, and to make him think that Haman and her are up to something, she takes control. The whole thing, v'nehapachu, turns around. Suddenly she's the boss. Okay, fine. Mordechai, I'm in charge now. I want him to fast for me. Yeah, 3 days, 3 nights. Yeah, also no water. Yeah, I know. It's hard enough. And I know it's Pesach. Yeah, I mean, no Pesach this year. I'm sorry. Yeah, no Pesach. Yeah, we're not going to celebrate Pesach. Yeah, but the whole family's coming from Florida. right? Everyone's here, right? Saba and Savta, they want to sit and talk for hours about, their Pesach growing up in the old. So no, cancel. No matzah. Add us some wine. You can't drink any wine. Look, charoset. Come on. No charoset. Pesach is cancelled. They cancelled Pesach. Who can? I wish I could. To be honest with you, I'm saying. All right. And by the way, not the hard part. They still had to clean all the chametz. They just couldn't eat or drink anything. So they got to work and clean the house, but they couldn't get the good part. Right? We like harasa, yeah. I know you're meant to dip the harasa, the lettuce inside. Hello. Wine, apples, nuts. The way my subs used to make it, I'm loading that stuff on, shoving it in. He's got to run for matzah after eating like half a pint of charoset. Cancelled. Done. Why? Esther says so. Once she takes responsibility, she's in charge. Maybe that's why people don't want to do it. There's fear of being in charge and making decisions. It doesn't come naturally to me. My wife is a natural leader. I'm not. I have to work hard. Work hard and making the right decisions, right choices. You need an advisor. And people look at you like, but you're the reason we're in this situation in the first place, Abba, Imma, boss, wife. You're the Mordechai. I know. Yeah, I take responsibility, but I still have convictions, and this is the right thing to do. That, my friends, is extreme responsibility of Mordechai and Esther. And in the end, it was Esther who took control. She was the one who risked her life. She walked into Achashverosh. She stayed married to him. Some say even after the story she had to stay married to him. Mordechai says, you can call it Megillat Esther. It's yours. Because Megaleh Esther, you've revealed who you really are. You are the greatest heroine. Sarah Menu was the queen of time. She lived 127 years. 7 years, 20 years, 100 years, says the Torah, because she used all of them in the Tova. The famous Rashi, which was 7, like 20, like 100. She was able to maximize her time. Esther ruled over 127 provinces. It's not a coincidence. 127, 127. She was the queen of space. She had full control over territory. That was the royal magic that Esther brought to the world, to the Jewish people, and that ended up saving us. Right? And that's why we're happy. But I'm miserable. It's Corona. I'm stuck indoors. My job, my parnasa, my investments, my family. I can't. You think Esther was happy? You think Mordechai was happy? They had to become happy. This becomes your simcha. What is happiness? I always thought happiness was, yeah, I'm happy. I met too many people who are smiling and inside they're broken to know that can't be it. Happiness is knowing what you're doing is the right thing now. I'm meant to be here in this place now. There's nowhere else I'm meant to be, nothing else I'm meant to be doing as being here now doing this. That, my friends, is the secret to happiness. Knowing what you're doing is the right thing. And most people, 99% of people out there, are in doubt, in safek, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the same gematria as Amalek. I believe that's true. You can check it out. Safek doubt is Amalek, because Amalek is putting doubt into your brain. That's what they want to do. That's what they're all about. Am I meant to be doing? That frustration. That's the anti-happiness. I thought happiness was being on a beach, having a good time. It is. I know you want to be in Florida. You'll go down. The Fontainebleau's waiting for you. Don't worry. I know where you go. You'll be there. But I know people on vacation are miserable. The key is, this is the person I'm going to be with right now. This is the class I'm going to be in. This is the job. This is what I'm going to do. That, my friends, is the secret to happiness. Mordechai and Esther were happy. Oh, they were uncomfortable. They were upset. They were crying. But they were happy because they knew this is what they were meant to do. This was the mission they were born for, And the proof is, they succeeded. My bracha to each and every one of you is you should, at the right time, grab the right responsibility. God willing, it shouldn't be extreme, but you should succeed in it. You should go for guidance. When people come against you to say, what are you doing? Like, this is what I'm meant to be doing. How do you know? I have great advisors. And I learned from Mordechai. Mordechai told me, this is the way you're meant to be. Everyone blames you. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission from God. And this is my path. But look what's happened. I am. We're going to have to suffer a little bit, but it's going to be good. And as my wife always says, it is good, it's going to be better. So Hashem should bless you all with continued success, bracha in your parnasah, in your shidduch. If you're looking for shidduch, you should find one. B'shar tov v'slacha b'karov. Bezrat Hashem, your zivug hagun, in your studies, in your family life. Hashem should bless you all with continued success. Thank you very much for coming.